All right, welcome back to Served. As promised, in the house for the best backhands show. I have a two-hander. This guy is a one-hander. Chris Eubanks in studio again. And by again, I mean we just
minutes ago.
Yeah, I was
it's
like,
all good.
It's all good.
The magic of TV, huh?
Happy to have you here. This is our best backhands list. I have too many names on this. I'm really struggling. And my criteria for those of you who did not listen to the best forehands list, the criteria is generally I'm going like up to 2012 and Banks has taken over post 2012. Obviously, there will be some crossover. I would assume we both have Novak Djokovic on our list. I would assume we have some crossover. I have I'm glad I didn't have to like whittle this down and like actually rank them because I think there's like a lot of really cool and good backhands. Straight out of the gate, Jimmy Connors.
Okay.
Can go both ways. Would have that like drive, return great. You couldn't go through it. The technique. I remember him. It was 2006, and we started working together. And
in 06?
In 06.
Okay.
Yeah, we worked together for 2 years, and I was struggling. Had gotten like dropped out of the top 10 for like the only month for like 9 years, and lost third round at Wimbledon to this young kid. I can't believe I lost this guy. I made the final the previous 2 years. His name was Murray, that hacker. Anyway, so he comes in. He's like, oh, I was like, we're doing 2-on-1s. Bobby Reynolds was in town. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, all right, well, do we need to get a body? Or he's like, oh, I can handle. I mean, Jimmy's old at this point.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, I can handle the corner.
What racket did he have?
The Prince.
I used to see him hitting when he was older. And I was like, what is that thing?
No, it's a mono. It was a graphite racket. It was like straight up, no throat, and he still has it.
Wow. Okay.
So he brings this thing out, this relic. He brings out the shoes from his 91 U.S. Open run. He has me jump rope. He brings a jump rope from his garage. I do 2 clicks, and then the third one's a cloud of dust. It had been in his garage for 16 years. Yeah, he brings all the stuff. Like, he literally hadn't had any new equipment since 1992. This is 2006. So he shows up. All this, I'm like, man, what is happening? I can rip City at that point. Like, I made the U.S. Open final a month later or 2 months later. His technique is so perfectly simple. Didn't matter how hard you hit it. Just straight back, straight through. Straight back, straight through. Fine. If he didn't have to move, couldn't overpower him, even at that age. Like, technology, his racket was strung at 40 with gut. Like, just, there was nothing that could possibly go wrong with the shot.
It was pretty straight arm.
Straight arm, just straight back, straight. You would never see it again. You will never see it again because of Luxilon. People don't hit the ball like side spin flat. I mean, maybe Med, but.
I was going to say, like, Nori maybe?
Oh, that's a good call.
Nori
that's
has
a great call.
Similar, kind of mechanics and straight arm.
That's the only best answer.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the best answer. But, like, there's just nothing that could possibly go wrong. Like, he's not going to, at that point, you're growing up with wood rackets, so we talked about on the forehand show, like, you're not going to be, with wood rackets, you're not going to be someone who has, like, a Rafa type two-handed backhand where you're just, like, ripping with RPMs. But, like, there is absolutely as technically sound as you could possibly have a backhand considering the technology. So Jimmy Connors is my first one. Someone that you mentioned right before we came on air, Kafelnikov, Yevgeny Kafelnikov. By the way, can we just make a decision? He's won 2 majors. He won an Olympic gold. Can we just put him in the Hall of Fame?
Jeez, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Regardless, well, go Google whatever and make your own opinions. But can we either say it out loud or just put him in the Hall of Fame?
I mean, if you don't put him in the Hall of Fame.
He was number 1 singles and doubles.
Jeez.
I think he's the last guy to win both in the same tournament from the French Open in '96.
Safe to say that won't happen again.
Won't happen again. But he was the first one I saw outside of Andre's, like, he was around. So, like, take Andre out of it. He's going to be either 1 or 2 on all-time lists, I think. Him, Novak are the 2 answers. But he was kind of that first one of, like, you see guys now, like Zverev can go both ways with it. Pretty much off of any ball, right? If he needs to. Kafelnikov was the first one to take that left hand, and he could just crack one off midpoint cross or play it and drove it. And also on the returns, he was one of those first middle returners like Murray and Novak,
playing
where like
hard
you
up
hit
the
it
middle.
and then he could just drill. He needed no time and could drill it on your feet. Like a Burditch type also, like where it's just on you and you're playing up to him. The forehand was a little weird. It was a little quicker, but he was someone whose backhand was Could hit a chip, volleyed well, like wasn't one of those two-handers that couldn't take a hand off the racket.
Okay.
He should be in the conversation. And then someone who was like a clone of his backhand was Safin.
There we go. That's one of mine. Okay.
Safin was a joke. Safin, it looked like, so Safin's forehand, I think, overrated. Like,
really?
They could get away from him.
Okay.
I think he would tell you that, like, later on in his career, you would look for errors off that side on big points.
Okay.
But his backhand, no. Like, and he was, it's funny, we talked about the last time you were on, someone being one of the really big guys who could move well.
Yeah.
And we gave credit to, maybe it was Zverev or whoever it was.
Safin was first.
Safin was that guy.
6'4",
6'5",
just
like
strong. Oh, he's 6'5".
But he didn't look weird when he ran.
Yeah, it was smooth.
No,
he looked kind of smooth,
athletic and fast.
Yeah.
His backhand was a joke. Like he was the one like he would just stripe winners. He beat Roger in the semis when Roger was like in God mode. 05 in Australia. It was just literally leaning into backhands and just picking off winners against Roger.
Yeah.
Like to clean winner against Roger is a weird thing to see.
Yeah.
Like you might have Rafa gain on him or like, you know, 1 shot, 2 shot, then hit a winner.
Yeah.
Safin was just cold cocking winners off that side. He was nasty. The next one is an older generation one, which isn't going to fit the typical mold of a backhand, but I need time to explain this one.
Okay.
Johnny Mack.
Okay. Help me.
I will. I played this guy when he was mid-50s in the Tragedy Tour events where I could still serve.
The Tragedy
Tour. Where
events.
tennis goes to die. He can, any ball, he can take early, shove it to a corner, like the racket control that he has. And you play some of the guys, like they can't find the racket face. They've never seen, like at this point, I'm not saying I am like a dynamo, whatever. It's not about me. I could hit nasty breaking kicks to this guy, and he would still control the racket face. He could be leaning left and play it off right short. Like his racket control was a joke, and he could actually like weirdly take it early and flatten it out.
Okay.
Like his variety and his ability of knowing his limitations in the shot and then using it perfectly is unlike anything I've seen.
Okay, so it's more about the ball that's coming to him. No, he may not be able to pure it as clean as an Andre or somebody.
I'm not talking about a ball machine.
But he can, whatever you give him, he has a tool for it. There's some type of tool that he can, I'm this way, let me drop it here and place it here.
I'm telling you, if he's on a driving range with his backhand, you don't stop and look at it twice. And then all of a sudden you look up and he's shot 65.
Okay.
Like he can use it up and away. He plays high floating ones and comes in. He literally takes whatever you give him and makes the best decision and has enough control of the racket face to make it effective.
And this was when he was in his 50s.
This is when he was in his 50s.
Jeez, okay.
I can only imagine, given the tools of training now and if he actually wanted to use them and technology and like his strokes would not work for Luxalon. They just, no chance. And if you gave him that at a certain age, he would have figured it out.
He would have figured it out. That's true. That's true. With that much talent, you figure something out.
Would he have been a two-handed backhand in modern time?
I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that you couldn't confuse him on that side at 55 years old when I could still serve 139. Right? Like you couldn't, he always knew where the racket face was. His awareness, his shot where like, okay, you're bleeding here. I'm going to shove it hard. Like I can flatten it out and get it. Like he was playing a 2-shot combo off of every backhand.
Okay.
As well as I've ever seen.
Okay.
This next one, and this is going to be a recurring theme with mine, and I'm curious to see where your list is. Lleyton Hewitt.
Okay, he's on there.
No one, it's like best backhands of all time. Because it wasn't one that just created winners, it wasn't flashy. It's not like a Safin.
Yeah.
He never missed a cross-court backhand. He could return off of that side. You couldn't get through it. His ball flight is a superpower. You would have to attack him from below your waist all the time, and you could not attack him on the backhand side.
Was he kind of like the first like Medvedev style?
It's so weird because I'm glad you said that, and I hope he's on your list too because I have one on that. But he would play, like, again, bird's eye view does not tell a story of Lleyton Hewitt.
Yeah.
His forehand had a little bit of elevation. Like when he attacked you, he would flatten it out. Like it wasn't fast, but it was like it kind of grinded through the court.
Yeah, it was like yuck. Like, you don't want to hit it. It was just a junky type of side spin.
Lleyton would literally stay cross and low until you proved you had to break it. Like you weren't going to beat him cross. You had to hit a chip. You had to hit a chip line. You had to reverse it somehow. But his ball flight on just his stock backhand was the most annoying thing I've ever seen in my entire career. Because it wasn't a skill where it was like a Roger where you're like overawed. Yeah. Right? Like you're not like, oh, like this guy's just way, way, way better than me.
Yeah.
He is the best at the basics of the game and knowing what ball flight people can attack and what can't that I have ever seen. I assume that's what Connors was like too. I didn't play against him.
Yeah.
But you cannot, like, up high, you're playing like a low, it's like a low shooter, maybe it lands 2 feet past the service line and you can't do anything with it.
Yeah,
you can't go anywhere. And he almost doesn't give you the cross-court angle. Like he almost plays it like
middle
enough
yeah.
to where you're still having to hit a backhand.
Yeah.
And you can't run around it because it's so low.
Yeah.
So if you run around it, you're just flipping it.
Yeah.
His backhand, and then all of a sudden he was another guy who would beat you line with a backhand where you were just sitting and it would go at 62 miles an hour and you were nowhere near it. Like his backhand return, like Hewitt has to be on the list. Like
one other thing about his backhand too, we talked about Carlos on the forehands with the dropper. I felt like Lleyton, just in my mind, is one of the first guys who you saw weaponize the lob because he was playing a lot of guys who love to come in.
You knew it was coming. There's okay, name one other guy in your life where you knew the lob was coming and you still got beat.
Couldn't do anything about it.
All the time. Because he would like have that shoulder low and then the last second he would lift.
To throw it up, yeah.
Oh my God. And it was just this teardrop.
And it's like landing like not even on the baseline. It's like 3-4 feet, like almost a no man's land. But at that time, too, he's playing a lot of players who come into net. They're crashing, they're closing.
Oh my God.
The moment that thing went up, it's just
but also like
not much you can do.
He kind of took an old school skill where it's like that flat ball flight. And he would pass with it where you were like grinding one off the top of the net. He was so controlled where he would hit passing shots that would clear the net by an inch or two. And then all of a sudden you're
your
like
volleying is a little weird because you're like, is it coming over? Is it not?
And by the way, he's maybe top 5 list of best movers I've ever seen on the court. And when he was like 19, 20 years old, that guy could fly. Like think about this. Never ever once in his life had the best shot on the court. Right? The biggest shot on the court.
Yeah.
He's not going to go through you. The guy finished number one in the world twice. Like, couldn't really go after a forehand. He did, but like it wasn't something like he would roll it. He does not get enough credit for tennis IQ, mastering the basics. Like if you have someone and you want to show them how to actually play tennis and construct
and
points,
squeeze everything you can get out of it.
Forget about it. Like his serve, he figured out like the kick was fine. He figured out this gross second serve.
That was like a cut?
It was like 90 and it would hit the back, 2 feet of the box. You couldn't really take a cut at it. Like it would just slide.
Yeah.
Oh, he was so good at knowing he was a master of ball flight. Absolute master. Like you never see him on a list because it's not flashy.
Yeah.
Lleyton Hewitt is such a good tennis. He was such a good tennis player. Unbelievable. Like I can't even handle it. Maybe the best competitor I ever played to.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying like that's nothing. Doesn't mean Rafa is not in that league. It doesn't mean
it's different when you're latent size. Everyone you're going up against is bigger. They're bigger, more powerful, and you're still finding ways to just compete. Like you say, maximize everything that you have.
Rafa's a great competitor. He also has 4 knockout punches.
Weaponry. Yeah,
correct. Connors maybe not like Mac and Connors and Lleyton. I think are like I don't know. They're kindred spirits in some ways. We talked about Rafa. Like,
yep.
It's going to be the thing that we talked about with the forehand episode where his forehand's so good that like you're not going to mention his. One thing we talked about how good his backhand is. His chip is so good.
It is.
His ability later in his career, especially on grass, an underrated grass court player. When he was healthy and playing well, he chopped me at Queens one time. Like I was like, oh grass, I'm going to get him. Like his ability to lay that chip line to where your options were trying to fit it to his backhand in a very narrow window. He was so good at using that chip to direct traffic to his forehand and then get what he wants out of it. Like his backhand is phenomenal. One of the best backhands of all time is Andy Murray.
Yeah, Murray's in mine.
Probably. Curious if you have another option. Best slice of all time that wasn't from a one-hander.
Yeah. Because I felt like Andy had variety on his slice too. He could throw that like
inside
side spin junk that was just it would land short too, kind of like Rafa would use. Like, but he it felt like his was so wristy that he just had more on it.
I remember he beat me in Bear C one time, and I feel like I was in every rally. Like I didn't feel like he wasn't hitting the ball big. I'm like, I feel like I lost 2-2.
Really?
And it was like water torture.
But you were in there though.
I feel like I didn't get blown off the court. I lost 2-2. I'm like, he's just a genius. Tennis IQ through the roof. Backhand return, unbelievable, but two ways. He can stick it, a la Novak, right? He can stick it, he can come in, he can play back. His full extension, one hand off the racket, playing defense and returning, where like you've beat him to the backhand spot. Like he's leaning wide on the deuce side and you hit a bomb tee. His ability to control his racket face, full extension, and play this floater that lands 3 feet inside the baseline where you're completely starting over.
Yep.
Like game changing. On the full run, like you beat him inside out 4 and he's cooked. He knows you're coming in. He plays a high chip line to where like you're coming in and having to like chop one across from the service line. Mm-hmm. And where if you don't stick it.
And he's having a full running forehand, the whole court's open.
It looks like on TV it looks wide open. And in reality, you have to stick something across your body from behind the service line as the ball's hit. His racket control with full extension is another reason why his backhand is one of the best of all time. His stock backhand is one of the best of all time. The differentiator where he's on the short list for me is full extension. Like, I have no business being in this point, much less getting neutral. His ability to do that is otherworldly.
And so you talked about how he could also he could float it, 3 feet from the baseline, but he also, if he's playing an opponent who he knows is likely to try to come in on it, it's like he has that kind of sense that, oh, this is coming in now. Instead of floating it high, let me angle one right at the toes. So it's like if you burn him and he gives you that high volley and you stick one, it's like, okay, so maybe it's like he's taking notes the whole time. You try it again, 15-30, big point. He's in that same position, plays it barely over the net. Now you're coming in with a low volley. You got to play up. The whole court's open. Murray's got a full running forehand. And you're kind of stuck. You're in this kind of in-between zone. So he had the ability to change and kind of play chess based on what the opponent was likely to do.
It's like he was fine being on defense. What he was going to do was force you to play offense to his strongest defensive positions. I was actually talking with Francis about this. We hit, and I was like, listen, defense is two things. It's like when you're on defense, it's playing one shot to make sure that they have to attack you to your defensive strength on the next one, right? Murray was the best I've ever seen. And it didn't work. Like, you're on defense, you're scrambling, but he made you hit the toughest shot to the spots where he wanted to play defense from.
Yeah.
That is racket control.
Yeah.
That is like being able to change the trajectory last minute, play it soft, play it high. And oh, by the way, when he stuck it back in, he could just rip it like flat through the court.
Can you guys expand on that, though? Because you had said he is the best slice all time for that wasn't a one-hander. Can you kind of explain the difference between being a two-hander and a one-hander and how
it's pretty simple, right? Like if you have one hand on the racket, you're used to having one hand on the racket. When you have, like, I have a two-hander, but I had a really good slice. I think it was part of my game that was actually, like, you'll never hear me say something was underrated. That was underrated. Like, my chip was underrated. But I started off with a one-handed backhand when I was young.
Got it.
Right? So, like, I could hit a slice. Slice to me is way more natural than hitting through it with two hands. I switched to two hands because you had to be able to return, right? And that's
where somebody had given me that memo.
Yeah.
Would have been nice to hear that when I was 15 going, I want to be like Fed. I want to win back.
We all do, Chris.
You might not be sitting next to me. I didn't recognize my limitations at that point. I was like, I'm going to be like just like Roger.
Yeah, and now everyone wants to be like,
It's deceiving.
But
very.
So, two hands, you're just not native to having one hand off the racket. So, like, the best chips of all time, you see like Mac and Edberg and Roger and like all these guys, normally native one-handers. It's rare to see someone with the fluency with one hand off the racket like Murray. Lleyton was great at it too. He had a great, like, very underrated chip. But less likely to see with two hands over time. I mean, that's
100%. Because as a one-hander, you're more prone to you defend with the slice.
Yeah.
Like when you have a one-hand backhand, the option of getting out there and kind of trying to go off the left leg and kind of hitting through it, it's becoming more of a thing now. But when you're 15, 16, and you're in the deuce side, you hit a forehand return and the whole court's open. When I see the ball go, I'm immediately going slice. Like I need to buy myself time. I need to get over there. So you just have years and years of repping the one-hand backhand slice to the point where, I probably can hit a slice in my sleep now because I've been forced to do it from the age of 15 on when I switched to one-hander. You return with it, yeah.
Which, like, I had a good slice, but I could never return with it because my grips had to be a certain way on returns. So you just basically get to know the racket face and kind of your left hand not being next to your right hand.